to educate the youth, to illustrate them all, and to disseminate a generous culture belonging not only to one people, but to all men. José Vasconcelos.
El proyecto Vasconcelos es una iniciativa de la Secretaría de Educación de Veracruz, con todo el respaldo del gobierno, del Estado, para llevar la mejor educación, con el mejor respaldo tecnológico, los mejores programas, los recursos humanos mejor calificados a donde se necesita, la población más alejada.
The state of Veracruz extends over 2,376,000 square feet of Mexican soil. It is located to the east of the Republic and has 10 regions settled in a 700-kilometer-long strip along the length and breadth of the eastern Sierra Madre and covering most of the central coastal region of the Gulf of Mexico. Veracruz has a very privileged geographic location, very ample spaces stretching from the height of the central mountains to the wideness of the Gulf coasts through vast plains and rainforests. Being the state a mosaic of ecosystems with very benevolent climates, its richness of flora and fauna is remarkable and makes of Veracruz a state with one of the largest biological biodiversity in the planet. The warm coast of the Gulf of Mexico exudes humidity that condenses into history. The Olmecs from Veracruz, together with their Mayan neighbors in the states of Yucatan, Campeche, and Tabasco, settled in this wide strip of land, leaving us their culture, soil where contemporary Mexico takes root. The territory of Veracruz is home to a number of 7,300,000 people that represent 6.9% of Mexico's total population. 1/4 of the state's population concentrates in 4 urban areas: Veracruz, Boca del Río, Coatzacoalcos, Minatitlán, Córdoba, Orizaba, and Jalapa, capital of the state. The rest of the population is scattered in more than 20,578 villages. This situation explains the distribution of human and financial resources to fulfill their needs and the consequent impact on educational policy decisions. Our state's demographic dispersion explains to some extent the reason 13,348 rural communities do not have a school. Isolation of many of these villages is ancient. Their history is one of poverty and marginalization. Backwardness in educational coverage, quality, and management is tangible. Given the seriousness of this reality, the state government faces the challenge of eradicating deprivation and abandonment of these communities. Therefore, it decided to boost modern education backed with state-of-the-art technology, having the certainty that education is the ideal instrument to reverse these conditions, lay the foundations of progress, and to give communities access to development benefits.
Un gobierno como el que ha definido Fidel Herrera Beltrán, un gobierno cercano a la gente, tiene que traducirse en cada una de sus áreas de actividad. Por eso, desde el sector educativo de Veracruz, hemos definido una estrategia puntual, el proyecto Vasconcelos.
The Vasconcelos Project, the Clavijero Consortium, the Repsamen Centers, and the Education Channel are the backbone of this strategy implemented by the State Education Department in order to take education and training to every corner of Veracruz. Vasconcelos Project was inspired by the educational crusade undertaken nearly a century ago by José Vasconcelos. Vasconcelos buses, adapted and equipped with the best technology, are sent to scattered, poor, and cut-off villages, particularly indigenous communities, to offer new educational, cultural, social organization, and productive opportunity. This project has to face up to a great challenge: to overcome historical misunderstandings and negligence, to recover communities' trust, and to give faith in their future back to people. Vasconcelos has been conceived as a project to produce positive results and impacts in the short term, particularly in those communities in great need. As an instrument of the state government's social policy, In the educational area specifically, the operation of this project is based in community service and the use of information and communication technologies. It opens the eyes of the community's inhabitants to knowledge of the world and also provides them with opportunities for sustainable development, with a sense of social pertinence and equity. The Vasconcelos project has very clear purposes: to be a permanent and dynamic educational program designed to impact on the quality of life of the less developed population, to increase their self-management abilities, and to link the inhabitants with productive tasks in their communities. Teachers and students will be supported in the development of curricula for basic, medium, and higher education in all of their modalities. Social service brigades, doing professional community service, will facilitate the use of technology to communities in tasks of common relevance and priority. The economically active population particularly will be trained in job competencies. The basic component of this project is the University Social Service Brigade's work. In the very foundations of these brigades' work is the philosophy and operation planning of community service developed by the Universidad Veracruzana 10 years ago. Impacts of this project are oriented to strengthen rural family integration and start by taking actions to improve and increase nutrition, home economics, housing and community infrastructure. To promote as well a change of attitude towards peasant women, boosting their active leadership in sustainable development processes, as well as their training in the use of new information technologies.
Y el compromiso social que tenemos los empresarios se tiene que ver reflejado en el apoyo a la gente que lo necesita. Y ahí está donde nosotros debemos impulsar a esa gente.
The users of Vasconcelos vehicles are children and adults with ages ranging from 8 months to 102 years. Attention is given to infants and their mothers, children and young people from every educational level, adults, disabled adults, and old people. Up to this date, the project has more than 30,000 users registered. Programs are focused on education, culture, social organization, and production areas. The project fosters the creation of social and civic attitudes in the community members through different education modalities such as tutorships, collaborative learning, training based in competencies, interactive software, online education, teamwork, and reading groups.
Ahí nos enseñaron los muchachos cómo se hace un jabá y los gorritos, y sí lo aprendí.
Criteria to select the communities give priority to those that are largely marginalized and have at least 20% of indigenous people in their populations. The community service consists of 3 main stages. The spearhead, visit to the community to specify what the needs of the community are. The stay of the itinerant classroom to take care of the detected needs. And the assessment, follow-up of the general impact. This way, the groups that have been given attention continue working with the software installed in a Repsmen center, in a digital community center, or in a multimedia classroom. Something has changed, people say. Results, still incipient before the magnitude of the project inspired by the educational crusade of José Vasconcelos, are nothing but encouraging in Veracruz.